So I was going to start the show shredding the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm going to really start the show shredding the Jacksonville Jaguars. But for a similar but also different reason. So today we find out that Liam Cohen, who many thought was going to be the next head football coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, says, I'm going to pull a Ben Johnson. I am not going to be a head coach this year. I'm going to wait until future years, probably next year, and I'm going to stay where I'm comfortable in Tampa Bay, and I will reassess things, whether that's becoming the head coach in Tampa Bay a year from now or going elsewhere, next season. And I saw that, and I said, look at the Jaguars, where you have Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't been great, but people think you could make it work with Trevor. You have a good pass rusher in Josh Hines-Allen. You have a very good wide receiver who showed superstar potential this year in Brian Thomas Jr. in his rookie season. And you play in a division where Tennessee can't get out of their own way. Indianapolis is a joke. And the one strong team in the AFC South are the Houston Texans, who are good, but they are not as a team that is this unmovable force that is unbelievable. So I saw Ben Johnson said no to the Jaguars. He's now introduced today as the coach of the Bears. And basically, Liam Cohen said thanks but no thanks to the Jaguars. So why was that? And it was because the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I don't know what photos Trent Baalke had of Shad Khan, but for whatever the reasons are, after they got rid of Doug Peterson, they said they were going to keep Trent Baalke, even though you had Shad Khan with Trent Baalke adjacent to him on a Zoom saying, hey, if a new coach comes in and it's not just based off of ego, but he gives me a compelling reason why we should keep Mr. Baalke, then I'll maybe say, okay, we'll keep him, or I'll have no problem getting rid of him. You know, if the new coach comes in and says, I give you a compelling reason why to get rid of him, he'll get out of business with Trent Baalke. But think about that. You're asking, in all likelihood, a first-time head coach, and this could be a ruthless business, to find a way on his first impression to be a guy that is somewhat well-liked in that organization in Trent Baalke, because that's the only justification I have of him keeping his job with his track record, and walking in right away and getting him fired. Like, why would you put that onus on whoever you wanted your new head coach to be? And that's why, up until we got this news a few seconds ago, which I'll get to in just a second, I was under the impression once Liam Cohen said no, that you're going to have to settle for someone like Robert Saleh, who should not be a head coach in this cycle, but it's because people are crossing off the Jaguars off their list because Trent Baalke is still there and the presence of Trent Baalke is still there. Well, if you thought that the Jaguars, with the way that I described them, were already a circus, now they are a mitigated disaster and the definition of a huge, and I mean a huge, clown show. That's what the Jaguars are. They are a backwards circus. So you keep Baalke when everyone said you should fire him. You missed out on Ben Johnson. Liam Cohen said, no, I'm not going there, and I'm going to stay in Tampa Bay. And then it takes Liam Cohen basically leaving you out the altar, is the way that I interpret it, for Shad Khan with his mustache to finally say, oh yeah, maybe I should get rid of Trent Baalke. Because that's what the Jaguars just did moments ago. According to Ian Rappaport, the Jacksonville Jaguars have fired Trent Baalke. So now you're going to try to go get, I guess, someone better than Robert Saleh? It's not tough to do. But I really think Ben Johnson could have been your next head coach. Because a lot of the feeling was, leading up until the announcement that Trent Baalke was coming back, even though we were all talking about Ben Johnson in Chicago, a lot of people believe Ben Johnson, right as the search really started, was going to go to Jacksonville for all the reasons that I laid out why the Jaguars are a little bit more attractive than I thought. And I remember James Palmer being on with us, and James Palmer said, well, he thought going into the weekend that Ben Johnson, a few weekends ago, was going to be the next Jaguars coach. But the moment they said, Trent Baalke's coming back, he heard that perception and that belief of Ben Johnson going to Jacksonville dramatically change. So you're already out with Ben Johnson. Now the question is, after Liam Cohen basically today said thanks but no thanks, what are you, going back to Liam Cohen's palatial estate in Tampa with the boombox holding it up and screaming, baby, come back? Is that what you're doing today? And that's what it feels like. But even if you end up getting Liam Cohen, it could work with Trevor Lawrence. It could work with Brian Thomas Jr. on the defensive side of the ball, having Josh Hines-Allen playing in a pretty easy division. It could ultimately work, but how you got there was a disaster and an absolute bleep show. So it took Liam Cohen saying no, not Ben Johnson, but Liam Cohen, for Shad Khan to be like, aha, I got to get rid of Trent Baalke. Now, maybe Liam Cohen still goes there. But if I'm Liam Cohen, I would say, get the bleep off my front lawn. Why would I want to go jump on the Titanic when it's sinking? Because Liam Cohen wanted to go there, I think. But he didn't want to go there if Trent Baalke was there. And now Baalke isn't there, but you're already fractured beyond repair in the perception now of your franchise. And you know what? If we're going to sit here and slam all these incompetent owners, whether, we talked about David Tepper, who actually got out of his way this year, but we talked about David Tepper in the past. We talked about the drama show that Jerry Jones loves to operate, the incompetence of a Jim Irsay. We got to talk about Shad Khan as well. Shad Khan completely, in this entire buildup to today, he not only dropped the ball, tried to recover it, then had the ball in his hands, and he kicked it 50 yards down the field instead of picking it up. That's what Shad Khan did. Everyone in America, besides you, and people close to you, knew it was the right decision to get to Trent Baalke. And you also fired the coach who's won a Super Bowl. You fired him. So if you fired Doug Peterson, he deserved it. Why aren't you getting rid of the GM? And you wait until Liam frickin' Cohen, right? Last time I checked, Liam Cohen, good offensive coordinator. He's not the greatest offensive mind in the history of football. He said no, and now it's like, oh, man, we'll finally get rid of Trent Baalke. I'm sorry. I know the Jaguars, and I said when this search started, before we knew that Baalke was coming back, that they could be the most attractive job in the market. I may rather coach the Saints that got nothing right now. I may rather coach the Saints. I may even rather coach the Raiders. And I'm not saying that, hey, Mickey Loomis is great. I'm not saying that the Raiders have great ownership. But Shad Khan, you don't know the difference between your elbow and your ass right now. You don't. This is on Shad Khan. This is pathetic. This is beyond pathetic. This is beyond being a clown show. This is beyond being a circus. None of this makes any sense. I'm not even a Jaguars fan. But I'm furious because this is the definition of incompetent organizations making incompetent decisions. And I remember those fans a few years ago. They dressed up like clowns. Oh, you know what? They knew a lot more than we did because this organization is a clown show. A clown show. And if you're a head coach, and I know it's one of 32 jobs, now Baalke's out, okay, you can at least say it's somewhat attractive with Lawrence and Thomas and Josh Hines-Allen and easy peasy division, all that stuff. I made the case 9,000 times already. But with that owner, and how he couldn't see that getting rid of Trent Baalke was a good idea until you had head coaching candidates, two hot head coaching candidates say thanks, but no thanks, geez. Then you're more delirious and delusional than I even thought Shad Khan was before this search started. This really pisses me off. This is crazy. You should have known it was dumb when you were on a Zoom doing a press conference saying, yeah, we're bringing back Trent Baalke. We're bringing him back, but, new GM, he's here, this guy Baalke, but a new coach comes in. And if he doesn't want him, if he gives me a good reason, then Trent Baalke will be out. Like, what? It's not tough to give a good reason why Trent Baalke shouldn't be the GM. Oh, my goodness gracious. This is wild. And it's funny how this works. We were going to start the show shredding the Jaguars. right? I was going to be at like a 3 out of 10 shredding the Jaguars. I'm not at a 10 out of 10 because the guy that we were going to attack the most, Trent Baalke and Shad Khan, well, Baalke's now out of the organization. What took so long? Oh, all 37 Jaguars fans, I feel for you right now. I really feel for you right now in Duval. Now, I know it's like bitter cold right now in Florida, but man, the Jaguars right now, they are a disgrace. An absolute disgrace. This is crazy. I never thought I would get this heated over the Jacksonville freaking Jaguars. But I'm fuming. I am furious because this guy, Shad Khan, oh my God. Stu, you know what? You should be happy. At least Shad Khan doesn't own your football team because the fact that they took this long and they told everybody that Baalke's the GM, we're keeping him, when everyone was laughing at them, like Liam Cohen, he's the guy that makes you realize this. Nothing against him. Knows McVay, worked for McVay, been back and forth with Kentucky, done a good job in Tampa Bay. But they were convinced Liam Cohen was gonna take the job, and that's how they were gonna pivot after Ben Johnson went to the Bears. But when Liam Cohen's like, I like your job, but not with Trent Baalke, so I'm going back to Tampa, that was the light bulb that went off in the crazy cabeza of Shad Khan to finally get him to say, oh, now we got to get rid of Trent Baalke. Huh. Crazy. So here's the statement from the Jaguars. I'm reading this for the first time. Let's see how, I'm at a 10 right now. Maybe this statement will put me to a 48. Put me past more a number than the more amount of fans that the Jaguars have. Sorry, Jacksonville. That's not that nice. Full statement from the Jaguars via Rap Sheet, Ian Rappaport. Owner Shad Khan. Following several discussions with Trent Baalke this week, we both arrived at the conclusion that it is in our mutual best interest to respectfully separate, effective immediately. Trent leaves us with my deepest appreciation for his efforts over the 5 past seasons. Ethan Wow will serve as an interim general manager and will play an important role with others as we continue the process of interviewing candidates to serve as our new head coach. I am deeply committed to building a winner here in Jacksonville and look forward to introducing a new head coach who will make that happen for our players and fans alike. Wah, 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 wah. Stu, I don't know how you think on this one. They got to call Liam Cohen back and say, hey, you were right, we were wrong. I'm ugly, you're hot. I'm an idiot. You're the smartest person in the world. And we're not, instead of getting it right when you mess up with your girlfriend, like a ring or a necklace or something, we got rid of Trent Baalke for you. But Liam Cohen, never been a head coach before, is a hot name now, will be even a hotter name next year. Is he supposed to then tell the Jaguars, yeah, they did what they wanted him to do, but after today, leaking it out that you didn't want to go there anymore and you wanted to stay in Tampa Bay, you really going to go join that team after what they had to end up doing to get you what you wanted, but the way they got there was just a sloppy, and I mean a sloppy process.
Yeah, if you're Liam Cohen, you can't. I mean, look,
it'd be embarrassing.
It'd be embarrassing. Trevor Lawrence is good, but it's not like there's not going to be a better opportunity with a better quarterback or a young rookie quarterback next year that he can go to. It's not the end all be all. So if I'm him, I would stay away. I'm kind of with you. I thought this was one of the better jobs, and now, a couple weeks later, I think it's one of the worst jobs easily available.
I wouldn't touch this job now with a 10-foot pole. And I like this job. I was on an island. People are like, oh, take the Bears. Oh, take the Jets. Oh, go here, go there. I'm like, no. I go, Jaguars, best job. If I'm a young coach, not a lot of pressure, easy division, you got some core there. If you think you can fix Trevor Lawrence, great. But this owner, Shad Khan, this is his day of reckoning, I'll tell you that. Shad Khan's just always been an owner in this league, right? He's always just been an owner, for the last decade. Oh, yeah, he's there, fine. Now, I don't think anyone's ever had an opinion on Shad Khan that's like, oh, I can't stand him or oh, I love him. He's one of the owners, right? owner that just blends right in the middle. But now, this is a level of incompetence that I would say I haven't seen in a long time, but we see a lot of incompetence with NFL owners. It's amazing how these guys have this much money. But this is a level of incompetence where it puts you in that running of maybe being one of the more incompetent owners in the NFL. Whew. This is something. This is how you know I'm really heated. When I'm already 15 minutes into the show, folding up all the notes that Samter gives me before the show, and I'm just shredding the paper pretty much and just trying to hold back all my frustration. Oh, my God.